And I have to check my camera actually.
Okay, we are live. I'm making you host and you can make me the co-host. Okay, thank you.
You're going
Have
to
a great session.
thank you. Hi, welcome. Hi, everyone.
Hi, Deb.
How are you? Hi, Nadine.
Hey, how are you?
I'm very
Hello.
well. Hi. This is going to be fun this evening. I can't wait for you to hear about Judy's chocolate desserts.
Yummy.
Yeah, very yummy. Hey, Linda. Hi. Welcome back. Haven't seen you for a little while. Good to see you.
I know. Thank you.
You're welcome. Hey, Judy.
Hi.
Deb is giving me too much credit saying they're Judy's recipes. Oh, no, no, no. They are not my recipes. They're just good recipes I have.
Yeah. And let me just say this, because, you know, I bring recipes to you all the time, and they're certainly not recipes that I've created, but half the battle is finding good recipes that other people really enjoy. So there is, you know, no shame in using someone else's recipes and passing them on when they're great. And we miss doing that. Gosh, I used to exchange recipes with people all the time and just haven't done that in a long time. So this is kind of nice. Yeah.
Deb, I've been keeping grandchildren, so I've been pretty busy.
Oh, you have. Wow, that's pretty nice though.
And
Are you
fun, lots of
Are you
fun.
exhausted?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, sometimes too much of a good thing. You need a little break every now and then. But how nice. So we're going, when Judy is talking, you're going to want to go up in the right-hand corner and get her on as speaker so that you can see her on large screen when she's talking, and we'll switch back and forth like that, okay? And I'm going to make, Judy, I'm going to make you co-host for whatever possible reason here, but you have that capability. And Nancy is here with Get Set Up, so she's here to help us with any kind of technical needs that we might have. So I wanted to introduce you to her. And also by now you might have heard about some of the Zoom rooms being bombed a little bit by some kids that thought it would be funny to come in and say nasty things and not be very nice. So that's why our TAs have really strengthened their watchdog skills and are coming in to make sure that none of that happens, and why we've enabled the waiting room. So if some of you have come to some classes a little bit late and couldn't get in, I'm sorry for that, but that's one of the reasons why we did that, so that we wouldn't bring in anybody that was going to be disruptive. So just be aware of that. If you come in up to 5 minutes after the class, you'll still get in. Otherwise, you end up getting directed into to watch live stream, and you'd need to check with support to get in. So, all right, we're going to get started. What a nice group. Judy, they all came to see you and hear about these recipes. This is fantastic. So I'm going to share the screen, get started, and let you take it away here shortly.
How was dinner last night?
I'm telling you, dinner was fantastic. So for those of you who were not with me yesterday, I had 3 classes in the kitchen and I had all of this food prepared and my refrigerator simply has no more room in it. And I said to my husband, we need to invite somebody over for dinner. So we had guests for dinner last night and ended up having all of the food that I had prepared. And it was so rewarding because they couldn't get over oohing and eyeing about that food. They loved all those recipes. So it was the peas class, it was the class on spring meals, and what was the other one? Asparagus. So they loved all those recipes. Anyway, thank you for asking. It was fun.
And I'm back. It was Carolyn.
Carolyn, thank you. Okay, so let's do this thing. Is there anybody that's brand new to any of the sessions that brand new to my sessions or brand new to Get Set Up?
Yes, I'm so brand new.
You are so brand new. Does that mean
brand new?
Brand new to Get
I'm brand new to everything. I'm sober today and I'm ready to go. Let's go.
Okay. All right.
I'm also brand new.
Okay. Good to have you. I'm glad that you're here. And my name's Deb Livingston. I'm your guide here in York, Pennsylvania. My background is in business, and now I am doing the food thing, and it's lots of fun having folks come to these classes and want to talk about food. So we're going to get this going. And ideally, if you can join by camera, I think it is very encouraging, not only to me, but to Judy, to be able to see faces. So if you can do that, it would be great. And we can have open discussion as much as possible. And also go ahead and use the chat box liberally. That's fine too. Nancy's going to help us keep track of what's happening in the chat box. And when Judy's talking, I'm going to manage the chat box so that I can pass on questions that you might have for her. So you can request a recording of this class by writing to help@getsetup.io. But the other thing I'm going to be doing is sending an email out after class that will have attached to it the recipes that Judy has provided, and they're unadulterated. They come straight from her and they're not retyped or anything like that. I'm just going to attach them to the email and you will get them complete with her notes on them. If you are joining by live stream, I want to say hi and invite you to join sessions in the future by registering with Get Set Up so you can be part of the conversation. The best way is to participate by being registered. And we don't have anything going on today where we're representing any other products, but we don't have any kind of financial relationship with any company or product or service. So wanted to let you know that. I also want to say that because this class size is relatively large and sometimes we get a lot of background noise, please keep yourself on mute until you're ready to say something. And then when you want to talk, go ahead and take yourself off mute to do that. So I'm going to turn off my screen in a moment here, but just to give you a little bit of an overview before we move to Judy. Judy Willis is our co-host this evening, and I'm going to ask her a little bit about herself in a few moments, but she's brought these 3 recipes that she really loves: chocolate infinity cookies, chocolate peanut butter bars, and chocolate tart. And Judy, did you make the peanut butter bars? Is that what you made? Or
yeah, I have the cookies made and the peanut butter bars made.
Okay, great. So we're going to do some demonstration, and then the chocolate tart is the one that I am making or made partly, and she's going to walk me through some of the other step to complete that. But I wanted to show you that and tell you about my experience with it after Judy talks about it. So
what specifically is a chocolate tart?
What is a chocolate tart? Do you see this in the picture here in the right corner?
Yes. Okay.
That's a chocolate tart. So we're going to take a look at a chocolate tart, and Judy has examples of the things that she's made too. She's made those. So let's come back and let's introduce you to Judy Willis. And you can go ahead up here where Judy is. Does everybody see Judy's block? You want to say hi, Judy?
Hi, this is me.
This is Judy.
Hi, Judy.
Mm-mm-mm.
Hi, it's your
Hi,
sister.
Judy.
My sister Debbie's here, and my friend Gail Nadine is here too. From
Right.
Connecticut and from
Ann is
Florida.
here.
So we're from all over.
Very
And
Oh,
your
and my friend
Ann
Annie's
is
here too. Yeah, my
And
friend
I've
Annie's
eaten
here
her
too.
dessert. It's good.
all right.
She's
Really?
had all of these.
Okay, well, Judy, just give us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, and tell us a tiny bit about your family, just to get us to get to know you a little bit, and then we'll get into the recipes.
That could take the whole hour, but I'm from Connecticut, as is Nadine and Debbie, my sister, obviously, and I have 5 brothers and sisters. So, but my mother really never taught us to cook or bake. So I've been retired 12 years. I didn't really start baking probably till after I retired, but I was a social worker, and then I became an attorney, and I worked for Parker Brothers Games in Boston, and then Mattel Toys moved me out to California, and I worked for them for 20 years till I retired 12 years ago. I was Barbie dolls lawyer and Hot Wheels lawyer. So
How fun is that? Interesting. So do you have children?
no children. No, but nine nieces and nephews, so that's good.
That's good. Okay.
Yeah.
So tell us about these recipes now and how you came to find them and what why did you pick these 3?
Okay, so these are all really delicious recipes that you guys would just love, and they're not hard. So first I'll go through the it's no bake chocolate peanut butter oatmeal bars. So the first time I made that, I was at a very nice Christmas potluck, and I brought it, and the caterer said to me, "Oh my God, I have to have the recipe. That made my day." Well, I thought that was really nice, So I told my friend that gave me the recipe that her recipe was a big hit, and she said, "You mean Martha Stewart's recipe was a big hit?" So I think this might be Martha Stewart's recipe. I don't know. That's what she said. So.
Yeah,
But,
there's a thin gray line around that. It's a really kind of big copyright. I'm serious.
We're in good company with Martha Stewart. Anyway, so
Before you move on, let me just be clear here. Does everybody know how to get Judy up as the primary speaker in the right-hand corner, that you can
I don't.
pin her there? Okay.
All I can see is like the blue screen.
That's all you can see is the blue screen?
Yeah, the one that says get up.
The one that says get set up.
This
Okay.
is Carolyn. I can see her fine.
Oh, I got it. I figured it out.
Okay.
Sorry.
You got it? So is she on the big screen now? You can see her and everybody else is in the corner? Is that how you're seeing her? If that's how you're
Well,
seeing.
I can see everyone, but I can see her too.
Okay, so if you want to.
Do you see the microwave towards the left? The microwave?
Yeah.
Yep, that's what I see. I got it.
And she
Right,
just
and
put
there's-
on her glasses.
I got to
Okay.
read these recipes.
Sounds like everybody's good to go. Go ahead, Judy.
I can see.
Okay, so I'm going to do the no bake peanut butter bars first. Now the good thing about this is my oven isn't very consistent, so I underbake and overbake consistently. But these are no bake, so you cannot screw this up, which is really nice. So you start with a 9x13 baking pan, you spray it, and then you put parchment down, because that's how you're going to get it out of there. But I have this made, so I'm going to show it to you. So first you start with these wafers. Can you see this, or is it backwards for you?
No, it's good.
Oh, good, okay. Well, of course, I use these today. The nice thing about this is it takes the whole package. But if you can't find these, you can use Oreo thins, which you can always find. But then you would use 2 cups of those. Like I ground these up in my food processor to find, because you're making the crust with this. And these are hard to find sometimes. In fact, a year ago Christmas, you couldn't get them. But you can use Oreo thins. The only thing to keep in mind is that Oreo thins are much sweeter, and you have to cut the sugar in half. And I wrote that on the thing, because the Oreo thins have the cream in the middle, but it still grinds up and you use the whole thing, but you use less sugar, half the sugar. So I was able to find these at Gelson's, which most of you don't know that store. It's an upscale grocery store, so they have, nice things there. Okay,
Is
so I
that
ground,
Nabisco brand? Is that what was in the corner?
yeah, it is Nabisco.
Okay, thanks.
But it's just, you're right. It's just very hard to find sometimes. And by the way, interrupt me if you'd like. Don't worry about it. It's fine.
I just did want to say one thing. I've used those wafers and they're absolutely delicious, but for years I cannot find them anymore. I live in New Mexico and every store I go in, I ask, and so where did you say you found them?
Well, Gelson's, that's our upscale, kind of
Oh.
smaller upscale grocery store. And sometimes they're in the ice cream section, not the cookie section. Because I don't know if people actually eat these for cookies. I think you put them with ice cream or cook with them or something, but anyway.
Thank you. Because I was going to try Amazon, so thank you for the suggestion, whoever put it in the chat.
And Amazon probably has, well, they have everything. I get a lot of stuff from them too.
I just looked them up on Amazon and they do have them.
Oh,
Oh,
good to know.
thank you so much. I've been looking really for a couple of years.
Well,
So
one
thank
year
you.
they weren't available. You couldn't get them anywhere for some reason. A
Oh,
couple Christmases ago, I don't know why, but you couldn't.
You ladies have some nice tits.
That
There you go again. Get
Nancy,
him off.
She warned us about him.
I was going to say too that I have contacted the manufacturers when I can't find things in stores, and they tell me which stores they distribute to.
Oh, that's good to know. That's a very good tip. But I've used Oreo Thins lots of times with this, and I even used the mint Oreo Thins. But accidentally I bought those, but you couldn't really tell the difference, so it's fine even if you use those. So, okay, so you grind those up in the food processor and you add 1.5 cups of oats. I have oatmeal, and 1.5 cups of powdered sugar, unless you're using Oreo Thins, and then use half of that. 1/4 teaspoon of coarse salt. So you just mix that up, and then you melt. Let's see, the butter. It's 5 ounces of butter, so it's a stick and 2 tablespoons. You melt that, and then you melt a cup of chunky peanut butter in that, and 3/4 cup of smooth peanut butter in that. And then you put that in with the cookie mix, and you spread it out in the pan, and you use an offset spatula to even it out. And then you stick it in the refrigerator for 30 minutes to harden it up a bit.
Does your recipe say whether it's quick cook oats or regular oats?
Let me see. Old-fashioned oats, it says. So I'll show you what I use.
And also, what do you consider smooth and what do you consider chunky? People have different skills.
The peanut butter tells you. It has nuts in it if it's chunky, and if it's smooth, it'll say creamy. So, it goes in the refrigerator for half an hour, and then you just melt 10 ounces of semi-sweet chocolate. And it's always better to use the bars of chocolate and not the chocolate chips. So I melted 10 ounces of chocolate, poured that on, and then it says to use the offset spatula again to even it out, but it's liquidy, so you don't really need that. I just kind of used a spoon. I'll show you what it looks like. Well, before I show you, once it's hard, once the chocolate gets hard, which is 15 minutes, half an hour, you melt 3 tablespoons of peanut butter and you drizzle it on. Let's see.
There you go.
You drizzle it on.
Yum.
Yummy.
And then the recipe calls for milk chocolate, but I'm going to use white chocolate because it shows better, right? So I'm going to melt this in the microwave right now.
Judy, while you're melting that, can I ask a question that I saw in the chat here?
Yeah.
The question was, can you use a pre-made chocolate crust? I think that was.
I don't know why not, because it tastes similar to an Oreo crust.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So I don't know why not, except keep in mind, this isn't in a pie shape or whatever. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
It's bars. So, I don't know why not, because you use the crust, then you put the melted chocolate on it. All right, now, I don't know, I'm melting this in the microwave, so I put it in for half an hour. I mean, half a minute. You have to be very, very careful when you're melting in the microwave.
And I'm interested here, Mayorta says white chocolate is based off of chess.
White chocolate is not actually chocolate. If we're
It's
going to be
not
technical
chocolate.
about it, it's not chocolate. Are you with me
Yeah,
on
that
that?
was
I'm
that was
glad we
my
agree.
comment. Yeah.
Oh.
I'm just using white instead of milk just because you can see it better when you drizzle it. But you have to
And
be
what-
very, very
what,
careful when you melt chocolate in the microwave, because if you melt it too much, you cook it. So
And what chocolate did you use? If you said no, not to use chocolate chips, so did you use a bar?
I used a bar
Okay.
of semi-sweet.
Thank you.
Judy,
Yeah.
if you use the pie crust, couldn't you just slice it like a pie into slices instead of bars?
That is a very offensive accent. I'm sorry.
I don't know. I mean, you could always try. You can
Okay.
keep checking this in the microwave. I don't want to cook it too much. That is a mistake. So better to keep checking it. I don't know why you couldn't do that. You could try it. Again, this is not cooked, so it's very easy. Just keeps going in the refrigerator to harden up, I wanted to demonstrate, which is why I didn't melt this before, but for some reason it's taken its time. That's a new microwave, so. All right, anyway, I don't want to spend too much more time on this. Let me just give it one more shot in the because this is too thick to drizzle, but you need to kind of drizzle it on there. And then of course, you cut it up in bars so nobody looks at it like it is right now. Anyway, this like I said, the caterer said it made his day. So it's so delicious. It's just a really wonderful recipe.
Don't ask about those calories, though. Am I right?
I was just about to ask, do you know how
That
many
is a-
calories per bar?
That is not nice. No. Well, I have no idea. No, because it's a recipe somebody gave me. All right. So anyway, this isn't melted enough, but you want to melt this and drizzle it on. And then you're supposed to take, I'm not going to do this again, but you're supposed to take a knife and put it under hot water. And this is on the recipe. And then you can cut them into bars. It makes 24 bars. And then it tells you, how long you can keep them in, whatever. So that's it. Only it should have the white chocolate drizzled on there too, but I'm just having trouble melting it for some reason. Okay. So did anybody have any? Oh, and then it's on parchment. So when I you can lift this right out on a parchment and put it on a cutting board and cut it in bars with a hot knife, because it's it's hardened chocolate, so you need a sharp knife for this.
Will it stay firm outside of the refrigerator after it's hardened?
Yes.
So you don't have to keep it in the refrigerator once it's hardened.
Well, I store it in the refrigerator, but I've taken it places and it just sits out and it's still hard.
Okay.
Because I mean, if you had a candy bar, it wouldn't melt.
Yeah. Right.
You know what I mean? It's like a candy bar, really. But all right, so now we're going to go to those chocolate infinity cookies. When I read this recipe, I said, oh, I have to make this, because it calls for a cup of semi-sweet chocolate chips, a cup of white chocolate chips, and a cup of milk chocolate chips. So right there, it sounds like amazing, right? So first you melt 4 ounces of semi-sweet chocolate of the bar. That's one package of semi-sweet chocolate. And this is a little more complicated because you do use your standing mixer with the paddle. And you have a cup of unsalted butter softened, a cup of light brown sugar packed, and then 2 large eggs and 1 egg yolk. And you put it in the food process, in the mixer until light and fluffy. You put the butter and the sugar, and then separately you want to whisk flour, baking
Judy?
powder. Yeah.
Can sugar be used? Can I use sugar alternative in the bars?
I love that question.
Oh, wait, can you repeat what it was?
Sugar
She was asking if
alternative.
we could use sugar alternatives in the bars.
Oh, in the bars. Well, in the bars, it's confectionery sugar. You could try that.
You could
know.
use stevia, some stevia, or some sweet and low.
You could try it. I don't know. I mean, I never have, but you could try it. So now for this recipe separately, you have to whisk flour, baking powder, pudding, cocoa powder, and salt, and whisk it and set it aside. Now this is what I use, the Godiva chocolate pudding mix. I'm telling you, these cookies are heavenly, and this probably helps. You could probably use any pudding, but any chocolate pudding, but I use this one, just sounds better. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the star of the show right there. It's the Godiva.
It's so delicious. So then you mix the flour in with the other ingredients a little at a time in the mixer. And I love using that standing mixer because it's just easy. Now this recipe and then you fold in the 3 cups of different chocolate chips. This recipe says it makes 24 cookies. Now I use this ice cream scooper or meatballs, whatever. This is a big one. Now I have a recipe for chocolate chip cookies where I do use this, but that recipe calls for a stick of butter and 12 cookies. So do that math. But anyway, you need the big one. But for these, you use the small one, and I just fill it up, kind of press it in, and I make 40 cookies. The recipe says 24, but they're caloric because there's a lot of chocolate chips in there. So I make 40, and then you have a lot more cookies too. Oh, and here's another tip. I'm sure most of you are bakers anyway, but read the recipe before you start. Like I'm always making this mistake. I think, oh, I have an hour and a half, I'll whip this up. And then I forget that it says, put it in the refrigerator for half an hour, put the dough in the refrigerator for 2 hours. So always read your recipe. One recipe I have that you have to put it in the refrigerator overnight. So you have to, make sure you read the whole recipe before you start. It's a really good idea. So I make 24 cookies with this. This is great because it says to roll it in balls, but this makes them all the same size. So I'm going to show you what that looks like.
I thought you said you made 40 cookies with the small one.
Yeah, I do.
Oh, okay.
She said 24.
Well, no, the recipe says 24, but I made 40.
Right. Okay.
But I froze these in smaller batches because, so they look really pretty because of the white chocolate chips, I think, So I'm telling you, these are so good.
I think Carolyn was just wrong.
These are like the best cookies. So now my third recipe, which Deb made today, and by the way, Deb, my tart doesn't look like yours. You did a really good job on the crust.
No, that's not my tart. That's a picture.
Oh, ha ha.
I actually don't have the tart completed because I wanted to show the crust by itself. Can you see the crust?
Gorgeous.
That looks delicious. Can
Now
you show us
this,
the tart?
Walk us through that.
okay, this recipe, it's the only healthy dessert recipe I have. So this actually is a healthy dessert recipe because a friend of mine, this is off from her website, Tasty Yummies. She does this for a living. She speaks, and I don't know exactly what, she's on the internet. She has a website and that's her job. But I had a friend coming over who has cancer and needs to eat healthy. And I asked this friend of mine for a good recipe, and she gave me this. And I was not expecting it to be that great because it's a healthy recipe. So, and I never cook desserts to be healthy, but so first of all, you're using 2 cups of almond flour, which I'd never used before. And that is a lot more difficult to use than regular flour because it's grainier or something. It doesn't stick that well.
Can you see the almond flour here in the picture in my screen?
Where did you go to find that? I've never seen that.
So
Is it
you,
Krusty's?
and this is what it looks, yes, this is Krusty's. That's what it looks like. And it's not the same as just ground almonds, because if you were to grind the almonds that you had, you would have the shell in there. So this is a sans shell. And it's
But does
ground.
that rise like regular flour?
Does it rise like regular flour?
Yeah.
It can rise a little bit if you're adding other things to it, but it doesn't act just like regular flour.
Deb, is it the same as almond meal? I think that's what I've seen in the stores, or not.
Pretty much, as long as your almond meal, as long as it looks like this and doesn't have the
Okay.
brown shell in
Well,
it.
Krusty's is a great brand anyway.
Yeah, and they have Trader Joe's. They have it all over.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, yeah. Almond flour can be very expensive. The first time I bought it, it was very expensive, but the person that gave me the recipe said, oh no, get the generic. So she didn't care about the high end stuff, so so it doesn't matter. I guess it doesn't matter if you don't get the real expensive brand, but in this recipe, she states a certain organic extra virgin olive oil. all you put in that crust is olive oil, honey, and a little salt, right? Honey or maple syrup. This is why I'm saying there's no added sugar. But the crust is a little tricky. Deb did a great job on hers. It's hard to get it perfect around the edges and stuff, but you have to play around with it. But it's really, really good. Oh, and last time I ran out of my good olive oil, and I just put Costco olive oil in it. It still came out really good. So this tart is sort of it's easy, really. It's not difficult.
Judy, one of the things that I noticed with this crust is that it's really true what they said is to pack the almond flour into the cup, which I didn't initially do. I just scooped it in because I wasn't reading the recipe that closely. And when I put it into the bowl and then added the olive oil, it was pretty wet. So I went back and added another half cup. I just estimated, and I have a lot of crust in here. It's not a thin, is it a thicker crust? Is that what you find? Because this is a 9-inch type tart pan.
No, it's not really thick. It's not, no, it's more thin than thick. Yours is probably thicker because you have more flour in there.
Maybe,
Does the
yeah.
level of wetness affect the outcome of the tart?
It'll affect the outcome of the crust, not
Yeah.
the tart.
So that was pretty wet, and I made it so that it would be a little less, but I can see that I can pull. This is a removable tart bottom, and it looks like it's going to come out nicely. I don't want to take it out yet because I don't have the flour in there or the inside in there yet, but it really baked nicely. And yeah, I thought it was the right consistency based on the way the instruction read.
See, Deb's experienced, so she can fool around, whereas I have to follow the recipe exactly because I'm not a cook really. But so anyway, so you cook the tart and that's it. And then you just melt high quality dark chocolates, and dark chocolate is supposed to be healthy for you. She says 70 to 85% dark. Now, I would never go to 85% because, oh yeah, that looks good. 85% isn't sweet at all. I mean, I would keep it closer to 70. And then you add 1/3 of a cup of olive oil, good olive oil. And so you melt the chocolate, you whisk in the olive oil, and then she said to keep whisking it every couple minutes and thicken it up. But mine never seems to thicken up at all. So at some point I get sick of stirring it and I just pour it in the tart, and it's very liquidy. But then you put it in the refrigerator and it hardens up, and it's perfect.
So what I'm doing right now, I just had this chocolate in a double boiler. So I melted it in a double boiler rather than in the microwave. And I'm just going to drizzle this in right now, see how it goes. Is it getting thicker? I'm just supposed to drizzle it, Judy, is that right? And we're hoping.
Yeah. And then she said to whisk it every couple minutes until it thickens up. Honestly, mine never seems to thicken up at all, but it'll harden like a bar of candy. So, it'll be fine. You want to cook it for a while, but.
Can you show us what chocolate? I missed seeing the chocolate that you showed us.
Now I used 85%.
Is that Carolyn? Is that Carolyn again?
This is what I bought. Can you see it? It is Theo brand. I bought it. I saw it on sale at Whole Foods. So I thought, 85%. I haven't been finding any 85% lately. So I thought, well, there's maple syrup in the crust. And if I'm going for lower sweetness, I'm going to test the limit here and go with the 85%.
The consistency of it when it's done, is it thicker than a Snicker?
When it's done,
well, it hardens up like a candy bar. I mean, it's like.
So it's kind of like a Snicker.
There you go.
So
there you go.
There's where it is
Perfect.
now, but it's very thin.
I wouldn't compare it to a Snicker bar because Snickers has a filling, whereas this is just a hard piece of chocolate. It's like eating a candy bar.
So here we
Snickers
go.
has nougat.
No nougat.
Gotcha.
I buy an 85% at Trader Joe's all the time, if anybody's interested.
But is that sweet enough though?
Is it what?
Is it sweet at all?
No, it is
Yeah,
not.
see, that's why I wouldn't use that in my tart because I want it sweeter.
Well, Deb, it's what Deb, you used an 85, Deb?
Yeah, she did.
I did because I can tolerate, I'm used to eating that. I eat that as a snack, an 85%, but it,
What I do, exactly what I do.
it might not be for everyone. So I think that Judy's got a good idea there. Go with the 70 is good.
Closer to 70. But then I also serve this tart with whipped cream. I whip cream. So it's like eating a candy bar with whipped cream on it. And it's just delicious. Albeit, like I said, it's a sort of healthy dessert, but it's just delicious. I think you'd all love it.
So that was 3 candy bars. And can you see it?
A little bit higher.
Can't see it.
A little bit.
Okay.
A little bit higher. Your camera's facing like
Yeah, hold
parallel
on.
to the.
I'm going to
thing.
change my camera angle so you can see it.
You have like a full production studio.
Beautiful kitchen.
Thank you. So can you see?
Oh yeah, that looks
It's
beautiful.
lovely.
Yeah, there you go.
Lovely.
And
That's
that'll
lovely.
harden up in the refrigerator like a candy bar.
Yeah.
So that's just oil and chocolate.
That's it. Yeah.
Wow.
That's amazing.
Beautiful.
And it's really, really good.
I used to make chocolate like that with coconut oil and the dark chocolate and melt it and a couple other things in there if you want to add. And it was delicious chocolate.
Well, you know how to cook. She's a really good cook.
Carolyn, were you asking a question? I thought you were asking something. Carolyn? Carolyn?
Nope,
Do you have a question, Carolyn?
no.
So that tart is gluten-free, grain-free, paleo, dairy-free, egg-free, vegan, vegetarian, and low FODMAP, whatever that means. So, like I said, it's much healthier than typical stuff you might make for dessert.
Looks delicious.
Personally,
Wait to have.
personally, I would use the 85% chocolate, so I won't eat as much.
Oh,
The
Well,
70
that's a good point.
I just eat the whole thing in her credit later.
Can I share one thing with you about, healthier? They have a paleo sweet. There's all kinds of desserts in this paleo thing. And it's all substitution of, just a little
Thanks. That looks good.
yeah. So what is that using? Does that use different kinds of sweeteners in there or sweetener replacements?
Yes, they don't usually do stevia, but they'll have almond flour, arrowroot, coconut sugar, and like palm shortening. They do things like honey and maple syrup, as Judy mentioned, and arrowroot starch, just different apple cider vinegar, almond milk, mostly coconut oil, things like that.
I see. Yeah, I see that somebody said, how about monk fruit?
I just bought something. I made monk fruit. I was telling Debbie that, and it's a package. I think I got it from TJ Maxx or Marshalls or something. It was monk fruit. It came out great. It was chocolate brownies. It was delicious. Well, for me it was, maybe not for other people.
There's actually, and here's what, so that can look like this. And there's actually a new, well, I don't know if it's new, but they do a bottled syrup now that is a replacement for maple syrup that is made with monk fruit. So you can get a liquid sweetener in the monk fruit.
Well, that's good to know.
Yeah, interesting. So who's making these recipes? What are you going to start with? Thank you, Judy. What
I
are
think
the
the tart would be my first choice.
That would be your first?
But that oatmeal bar sounded really good too.
Could Judy hold up the Godiva that she used on the second recipe? Do you remember?
It's Godiva chocolate pudding.
Oh, good. Oh, I'm glad.
Because
okay.
the cookie recipe calls for a box of chocolate pudding.
Okay. Is that something you would find in, your regular I don't.
Oh
buy
yeah,
cookies.
this came from
First of all,
Ralph's.
no one here has gone to a regular grocery store. Y'all have said Whole Foods, Trader Joe's, like those aren't regular stores.
No, this came from the regular store, Ralph's, but I'm sure they have it at the good stores too.
Good to know. I've never seen it. Thank you.
Never seen it either. Not in my area.
I have a feeling it's new or sort of new.
Okay. So Katie,
And is it instant pudding mix, or is it the regular where you would normally cook it if you were?
No, it's instant.
It is instant. Okay.
It's instant because the recipe calls for instant pudding. Hershey's or Godiva is what it calls for, but so
sorry.
Yeah, definitely instant.
what other questions?
Have you ever tried making your own chocolate?
Oh, are you kidding?
Take it a step further. Do the whole thing.
Maybe Deb.
I have.
Oh, I've never made my own.
Oh, you made chocolate, Gail?
Yeah, and that's what I was saying. It's like coconut oil. It has a whole different taste to it. It's not that sweet,
Wow.
sweet Hershey's chocolate. It's very easy, very easy.
What do you
But I
start
mean,
with? Cacao? What do you
have-
use?
Well, you do have to use some of the dark chocolate, with it. So maybe that's not making your own.
Oh,
So you
okay.
made like milk chocolate.
No, it's not at all. It was like for macrobiotic. It was like a healthy
Oh, I see.
chocolate with coconut oil, and I can't remember. I had it written down, but I forgot. I have to look it up. But it was a different taste, and if you acquire that taste, if you're not into sweet chocolate, I don't like milk chocolate. It's sometimes you can get this kind of taste like Switzerland and Germany chocolate. It's delicious, imported chocolate. So anyways, that's all I have to say.
Very nice.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much. I'm wondering if anyone else would like to share any chocolate desserts, favorite chocolate desserts that they have. What do you enjoy? What can you add to this? And you can also put information in the chat if you like, if you have some recipes.
Well, I'm allergic to it, so I can't really eat any chocolate. But
Oh, you're allergic to chocolate and you've been here oohing and ahhing over this.
I've just been looking at your sweet little face. You're adorable, and then the other lady's adorable, and y'all are just some fine white women, and I'm just here to enjoy the view. So I'll bow out now, but go ahead.
Okay. Chocolate desserts, anyone? What's your favorite?
Could you add a mint flavoring to it?
A mint flavoring. Why not? That's a great idea. What else could you do with it?
Maybe put some berries in it. I don't know.
Could you
Could you
add
put berries in it?
I always thought mint chocolate tasted like toothpaste. I don't know why.
Oh, I love mint
Depends
chocolate.
on what you like. So mint would be an idea. What about nuts? You could
Nuts for sure. Marshmallows?
Nuts and coconut. You could put coconut in it, and blueberries, raspberries, and chocolate, all that stuff.
Pretzels. You could put some pretzels in there. I mean, I can't eat the chocolate, but the pretzels, you could do the pretzels.
Sure. I love these
And then
recipes.
what Deb said with the berries and the pretzels, you're halfway there.
So
I actually volunteer at Gilda's Pub of Grand Rapids in Michigan. It's a grief and cancer support group. And we have something called Chocolate Factory. So every other week we make things. And when I have been in charge before, I like to do this one because we never know how many volunteers are going to show up to help us mix the cookies or the bars or whatever. And I get 3 big crock pots. This is for a lot of people, but it's called chocolate peanut butter or peanut surprise. And it has basically just, I'll read the recipe. It's 1 16-ounce jar of unsalted peanuts, 1 16-ounce jar of salted peanuts, and then a whole big 12-ounce bag of semi-sweet chocolate chips, 1 12-ounce bag of milk chocolate chips, 2 10-ounce bags of the peanut butter chips, and 2 1-pound packages of white almond bark. So it's like the vanilla. And what you do is just layer all those ingredients in the crock pot.
God.
I will. It's awesome, especially if you have a group, and we feed a group, and I can't get back here. I'm trying to get back to my Zoom here to see everybody. But it'll just soften. Usually I will set it about 3 hours in advance, but I don't make nearly that much when I make it at home. I can't get rid of that much stuff. So I've been cheating. I will use the same proportions, but in a smaller amount. And I've been really doing it carefully in my microwave. You have to be super careful though, because the chocolates, they can seize up very fast. We had one fella he wanted to get it done faster, and he was not a cook. So he put it in, and I think, I'm going to put it for 3 minutes while everything's seized up.
No.
It's not good. But you can do it in the microwave, but it's an awesome recipe. It's like with the peanuts and all those different flavors, it's a mild chocolate flavor because you got the peanut butter, and they're delicious, but they're more candy bar-ish than they would be a cookie. But then you just drop them by teaspoons, tablespoons, quarter cups, whatever you want, and throw them in the fridge to set up. It's wonderful. We've made them so many times. Everybody asks for them. So I just thought I would share that one.
That sounds great.
I'm wondering.
I sure do appreciate you sharing that story with us. Sharon.
I remember
You're
about my
welcome.
chocolate, you guys. I don't make it from chocolate. I'm sorry. I just wanted to interrupt. It comes from cacao powder, and which you get at Trader Joe's. Now it's coming back. I have the recipe here. The cacao powder and the maple syrup. And then you put some vanilla extract, a little salt, and there is coconut oil in it also, coconut oil. And it's so delicious. So that's what it's made from, not melted chocolate. It's cacao powder.
Okay.
Neat.
Hey, Deb.
Yes.
Talking about Sharon and her recipe, what I do is Michael's or the discs, the chocolate disc, the melting disc that you mold candy out of. Throw that in the crock pot and melt it. I use dark and light chocolate. And then I use honey
gonna-
roasted peanuts in it. Oh, try that, Sharon. Honey roasted peanuts in it. Oh my gosh,
Okay.
it makes all the difference in the world. They're so good and people want the recipe and it's so easy. It's so
Sounds
easy. You just wait until
It
the
sounds a
chocolate's
little
melted
excessive.
and throw the honey roasted peanuts in it and then dip them out and you got peanut clusters that to die for.
Yum.
Sounds
Good
delicious.
too.
And
So easy. Did you get that?
yeah, I was looking, yeah. So is that something that
I
you
can't hear you.
can't hear me?
Yeah.
I can hear.
I can't. Cool. Yep.
Just
Bye,
wonder-
Kathy.
Where is my?
I wonder, Kathy, if you could just jot that into the chat. And I want to thank Sharon for putting that recipe in the chat. And I'll go ahead and copy paste that into the email that I send out after the session so that you have it in writing. Okay.
Oh, Kathy just sent a message saying she can't hear. So
Oh,
Kathy out.
okay. Huh. I'll chat.
She sure was bragging though about her
I
dessert.
did.
I mean, y'all made some really nice stuff. And then she just comes in saying, "Oh, mine's the best." You're not gonna
You're
believe it, but she just added peanuts.
I took.
Yeah. Wonderful. Great ideas,
What am I
everyone.
doing wrong here?
Chocolate is a
Guess I gotta
favorite.
We can
I
hear you,
make-
Kathy.
I make a no
That'd be a way
bake
to-
chocolate cookie. I made it for my dorm girls when I was in Kenya, and there was no microwave.
Oh, boy.
I can hear it now.
Can you
Did you
imagine
hear what I
that?
said, Deb? Because I couldn't hear myself.
Yes, when you were talking about the peanuts?
Yeah, yeah.
Yes, and I was asking you whether you could just jot the couple
Oh,
lines in the chat and
okay.
I'll copy paste it and put it into the chat or into our notes
Okay.
that I send out afterward.
What's over here?
Okay. These are great ideas. So you're going to get the 3 recipes from Judy and the recipe from Sharon and then the information from Kathy. And who else do we have to add to the mix here and add to our notes so that we can all be overdosing on chocolate this weekend?
There was that one lady that was asking questions at the beginning, and then she just got quiet. So I'm wondering if she's like still with us. I mean, like still like understanding, or if we should check in on her and see if she has any questions.
Yeah. That was that Jody? Using a chocolate pre-made crust? I don't.
That was the question.
Jody, yep. Jody, are you doing okay there? Any questions?
Have you ever?
unmute.
Have you guys
Yeah,
ever tried a sweet potato pie?
Enjoying this.
Say that again, Jody.
I'm enjoying hearing about chocolate desserts. Yes, it's going good.
Okay, she's good. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Is it Paul? I see Paula. I don't know.
It's
if that's
Paul.
your-
It's Paul here. Paul here. Well, my wife's Paula. I'm
Okay.
Paul.
All
Just
right.
checking on you.
Good.
We love you,
Thank
Judy, Janice, Kathy.
Okay. So Jody says she loves Trader Joe's. So, and the information, I'm just checking the chat here.
Yeah, I think it's a really nice store. I enjoy going there.
Yeah. And it's not all organic, but there are a lot of organic things there, right? Yeah.
Yes.
I have a question here. Anyone ever made a sweet potato pie? Wow, we have some people in some of the classes that come to some of my classes who've made sweet potato pie. I have never made it.
You ever made a pecan pie?
Pecan pie, yep, pecan pie. Do you like those?
I'm allergic to pecans too, but
Yeah, I'm from
I'll
the
smell
South,
them.
so
They smell good.
Yeah. Yeah, they're
being
full
from
of.
the South, I love pecan and sweet potato.
But you've never, have you made a sweet potato pie, Theodore?
Oh, definitely many sweet potato pies.
So tell us about that with the time that we have remaining. We have a few more minutes. Tell us about.
Popeyes has a good sweet potato pie, and they have a good apple pie.
Popeyes? I didn't know that.
Popeyes does. Taco Bell used to have
Basically,
the empanada, but they stopped selling that. So now you only got Popeyes. It's your only option for fried pies.
Who knew
that
that?
sounds delicious.
So Theodore, is it Theodore or Ted? Which do you like?
I go by either. Honestly,
Okay.
Ted is fine.
Okay. Well, Ted, tell us about the basics of your sweet potato pie. What's in
Pretty,
there?
pretty much you just boil, or you can roast the sweet potatoes,
Mhm.
and then you get them soft and mix them up with some brown sugar and maybe some real sugar, a little vanilla, and you put that in the pie crust and you bake it. Yeah.
Delicious. So
Mm.
so is it similar to a pumpkin pie, but you don't use the cinnamon spices or the pumpkin
No,
pie?
actually, yeah, it's almost exactly the same.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah.
Do you do the little whipped cream thing on top, or do you skip that out?
Now you can do the whipped cream on top at the end for sure.
Everything's better with whipped cream. I can't wait to put whipped cream on top of this chocolate tart. And the only reason this chocolate tart is not in the refrigerator right now, so that I can dig into it sooner rather than later, is because I think I have to do surgery on my.
Make away.
Okay, well, this has been a wonderful evening, a very lively conversation, and I hope that we can continue this. And I'm curious, what would you like to see as a next favorite? I think we're going to do a favorite strawberry dessert in a couple of weeks, but let's
Is
see.
it only dessert? Can we do breakfast, like some pancakes or
Oh my gosh, we can
some
do
grits?
anything. Favorite breakfast? Okay. Yeah, we can do that.
All right. All right. Cool.
Sure thing. And what I really like is to know that if there's somebody who wants to share those recipes, the whole idea is that these favorite classes feature the recipes that you love and want to share with others. So if you have any ideas about that, I'm going to put my email address in the chat box right now, and you can send that to me. That's how Judy and I got started with this, right, Judy?
Right.
You send me your
Y'all
recipe.
sure did connect like some fast friends. I thought y'all were going back for decades, but no.
Nope.
No, not at all.
No, we just connect on food and have a great time. So there's my email address. And we'll just share the screen here to wrap up here a little bit. I want to thank you, Judy, so much for doing this. You did a wonderful job walking us through these recipes. And
Yay, Judy.
yeah.
We all please unmute and clap for Judy. Unmute and clap. At least 5 claps.
Thank you. Over. I want some of that chocolate.
Carolyn, let's clap. Carolyn, I don't see your mic moving. Come on, Carolyn.
I'm gonna try the chocolate cookies.
I know.
So here we are. We're going to wrap up, maybe if I can. This happens to me sometimes. My hand gets a little spastic on the mouse. So I want to thank you for coming. My next class is tomorrow. I'm doing one on do-it-yourself spice blends. And in the afternoon, we have an open forum just to talk about cooking and food. So that's one of those where you run the show, basically. Come and talk about what you want to talk about. And if it runs dry, I always have a little something to throw out there. On Friday, we're doing Mexican fiesta. So a few Mexican recipes, Mexican food recipes, along with a little bit of trivia. And I'll be talking about how to make meringue on Thursday evening, so tomorrow evening. So that's not in the kitchen. That will be in my office, but we'll talk about meringue and I can show you. Well, I learned a lot about meringue just to put this class together, and maybe you would learn something about it too. Does anybody make meringue?
My mom did.
Yeah. It's quite an art, and well, it's easy to make, but there are so many things you can do with it that I had no idea. So I'd be happy to share that with you.
What day is the Mexican day?
That's Friday. That's Friday.
I think there'll be no shortage of recipes with Joe Biden, the way he's running this country. I'll tell you what.
Yeah.
I should be able to make that one too.
Okay, great. Well, I'll send the email out. I'm going to copy and paste the information from the chat, as well as attach Judy's wonderful recipes. And you'll get that in this email. And in the email, you get a chance to give us some feedback on the session and on the guide. which would be me in this case. You're not rating Judy, but you can rate Judy in the comment, not rate her, but provide any
5 stars. 5 stars.
Oh, thank you.
5.
And I'll send you some ideas for some next classes. If you're brand new, and I think I should just take a moment to show you this, out of the email, you can click either here to get right to those classes or here on this button, and it takes you right into the Get Set Up website. And you can search up here for whatever topic you might want. And you can come up with the Mexican fiesta if you want. It takes you right into the detail of that. You can book it. And when you book it, you can also invite friends. If you have any questions, you can type in and get immediate help. And you can also, anywhere you search, if you have a favorite guide, like I'm just going to say it's me, but it could be Scott or Glenda. If you type in the guide's name, you get everything that the guide is teaching. So
Sure isn't Sue. Sue just keeps going on. She has like 4 classes a day. To me, I'll just have one. Like, this is the most interesting class I've been to ever. And then Sue just keeps doing these classes, and it's the same stuff, but I like these.
well, we all have classes that
What is that noise?
repetitive. Yeah.
Ouch, what the hell is
There you go.
going on?
Maybe that was a little background noise with Ted. So anyway, that's how you get to the schedule from the email if you would like. And tell your friends, invite your friends. See how this community was. I think it's great, Judy, that you reached out and had your sister come and your friend Ann, was it Ann?
Ann's in California, Nadine's in Florida.
Okay, it was just great. So think about other friends you might be able to invite. And we're always looking to expand the community. So email us at help@getsetup.io if you are interested in hosting an interest group. We have lots of those. If you want to suggest a new class or share your organization with us so we can reach out. And that's our evening. Thank you so much for coming.
Bravo.
Thank
you.
Bye-bye, everyone.
Thank you, ladies.
Bye, everybody. Thank you.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye, Deb.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Thank you. Great job. Where'd Judy go? Did she go already? I think so.
Okay. Thank you
Bye,
so
Karen.
much.
Yeah, sure.